Hi everybody, I'm Hub Arkush for Pro Football Weekly, and once a week here at PFW we like to go one-on-one, a little bit of a debate on one of the hot topics or questions of the hour. To lead the debate today, we welcome in Associate Editors Arthur Arkush on my left, Kevin Fishbane on my right. And the question for you gentlemen, amongst the two most maligned quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs still standing, Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan, which is more likely to load his team on his back and lead them to victory? Kevin, I'll let you go first.
I go with Joe Flacco in this one, and a lot of it is because he's been there before. We've seen him do it before. I mean, you just have to look back, a few days ago in Denver, trailing the 70-yard touchdown pass to Jacoby Jones. I mean, this guy has shown, obviously he's been inconsistent at times in his career. He has playoff experience. You look at his playoff wins throughout his career, he's got plenty of them, and he's made big throws when he's needed to, and I just know that he's done it before as opposed to Matty Ice.
All right, Arthur, and a good friend of mine, the Hall of Famer Dan Hampton, is re-nicknamed Matty Ice, Matty Puddles during the playoffs. Now, it didn't happen last week. Why is it going to be even better this week?
He actually wasn't even as good as Flacco last week, but he did have, obviously, the late drive, a couple big throws. Biggest thing for me is I go back to the regular season, I look at an Atlanta team that's passed first. He had almost 100 more attempts than Flacco. I think they've been riding him more all season. I expect that to be the same. I also just have a feeling that the Ravens will have a better chance running the football against that Patriots defense, which is good, but it's not quite the San Francisco 49ers run defense, and I just think that the #1 recipe for beating Tom Brady, of course, is keeping him off the field. I think it's going to be a bigger part of Baltimore's game plan to try and pound the football than it will be for Atlanta, who we know is going to come out slinging it all over the yard.
All right, now, Kevin, there are some who would argue that Matt Ryan does have better and more weapons to work with than Joe Flacco. How would you counter that?
Yeah, well, I think when you look at the Ravens, they have Ray Rice, which is a weapon for Joe Flacco. I mean, he's considered by some to be the best pass-catching running back in the league. And I know Chris Rodgers has been nice for Atlanta this year, but he's certainly not at Ray Rice level yet. We know that Michael Turner's not been known for his receiving skills, so he has that option. Dennis Pitt has turned into a really nice tight end for him this year. Torrey Smith's been great this year. Jacoby Jones, when he's catching the ball, has been very good as well. So, he has the weapons, and, he's been making good use of them, especially in these two playoff games.
Well, and Arthur, the problem for the Falcons, you mentioned the Ravens' running game as a negative against Flacco, but it does help a passer. The Falcons haven't run the ball very well, and that's going to allow the 49ers to stack up against Matty Ice. How does he overcome that?
It's a good point. They haven't. They did show a little bit better last week, though, and I loved how they started out. They had Turner out there, but it seemed like Rodgers got a lot more look, and I think that was a really good move by Dirk Cutter to get him involved and sort of get more varied looks in the running game. But I just think you kind of hit the nail on the head. The best wide receiver tandem in the NFL, they're going to have to lean on those guys as well. Roddy White, Julio Jones can do so much to help you. Oh, of course, Tony Gonzalez should have a little extra juice, this being his first playoffs ever that he's able to actually advance and get into the next round. So I just think you look at those skill position players, there's a little bit more in Matt Ryan's favor in that respect, and I think that should lean to a strong performance for him this weekend.
All right, last question will be pretty much the same question for each of you. The question was, which quarterback more likely to load his team on his back and carry him? How about carrying him to a victory? Can one of them pull an upset? What about Joe Flacco, Kevin?
I think it's going to be tough, but if the Ravens do win, I think it's going to be because Joe Flacco has put up enough points to keep up with the New England offense. The Patriots, we know they're going to score tons of points, so the Ravens have to keep up with them, and they did in Week 3. Flacco threw for 382. They won by 1 point. Now it's a different Patriots defense he's going to see this week, but if he throws the ball well, he can get that done. I think, though, Atlanta has a better chance to win with the home field advantage, and I think the Patriots are just a better team than Baltimore right now, but if they do it, it's going to be because of Flacco.
All right, and Arthur, all Matt Ryan has to do for you to win this debate is put on outstanding individual performance, but does he win the football game?
We'll see. I think he does have a better chance than the Ravens going into Foxborough. Of course, as Kevin hit on, the Falcons do have the home field advantage. That is a tough place to play going into that dome. I'm also not quite ready to anoint Colin Kaepernick into Canton just yet. I was extremely impressed with what he was able to accomplish last week, but let's be real here. Tom Brady is a living legend and as good as it gets in the postseason. Kaepernick's not there just yet. I am taking the Niners anyway, but again, I think Ryan has a much stronger possibility of being able to pull out a win this weekend.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this week's edition of One on One. For all the news, scoops, and rumors from around the National Football League, sometimes before they even happen, make sure you stay at ProFootballWeekly.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.